Here we are on the final day of 2021. We are here to look at plays. How many plays? 5 plays. Stick around. Greetings and welcome back to another episode of 5 Play Friday, the show where we take a look at plays, get better as basketball officials, look at all of the things. Greetings, everyone. My name is Greg Austin with abetterofficial.com. We craft video to help basketball officials get better and take control of their officiating career. If you haven't done so already, now would be a great time to do all of the things, right? You can hit like, you can hit subscribe, and you can hit notify so you don't miss out on any of our new content. We go live every Wednesday and Friday. Join the show. Put your voice in the game so we can all get better together. Allow me to thank our tremendous show supporters who fuel the show. Charles Fogel, Fred Thompson, David Barnett, Nick Hahn, and Janice Brown. Much appreciated and much love. There's always an opportunity to support the show. I'll put a link down in the show notes below. Appreciate it. Love our show supporters and so much love and appreciation for them. All right, let's get started today and look at play number 1. All right, we got a play submitted by Matt Bell. Traveling play, spin move, point of emphasis, National Federation of High School Basketball rules, right? We have a player. Again, it's easier with the larger the player, right? The longer the player, the more obvious these violations become. Player does a spin move, right? At the high school level with high school rules, it is extremely difficult to execute a spin move legally. This player violates, right? It's an obvious violation on this play. We have a left foot pivot, holding the ball, spins, places the right foot on the floor, and returns the left foot to the floor, right? The energy in the gym goes, oh, come on, ref. That was a great move, right? It's one of the challenges we face. This play is legal at other levels. It's legal in the NBA. This year, NCAA men says, hey, we're going to give leniency in this situation and not rule this a travel. But of course, at the high school level, not only is it a travel, but it's also a point of emphasis, right? Traveling is a point of emphasis, specifically addressing jump stops and spin moves, right? And Euro steps, right? And adjudicating these plays properly. So it's important for us to get these plays right. This is an unpopular decision. The fans all want to see plays like this. And of course, if we put a ruling on a play like this, one thing that's really important is that we have consistency as a crew, right? If this is a travel at this end of the court, it sure as heck better be a travel down at the other end of the court for a spin move at that end of the court as well. So thank you, Matt, for joining. If you want to submit a play for 5 Play Friday, there will be a link in the show notes and a link right here on the screen where you can do that. abetterofficial.com/submit plays. So thank you, Matt, for submitting that play. A traveling violation by rule, a point of emphasis this year in National Federation of High School Basketball rules, and one that we want to have consistency. Again, why is it a point of emphasis? Because we need more traveling rulings in the game? No. We need more accurate traveling rulings in the game, right? If this is an illegal move, it needs to be identified as a violation. For plays that are legal moves, we need not misidentify those and rule a violation where it is not important. All right, a spin move travel to get us started. Let's look at play number 2. All right. So what do we have here? We have a transition dunk over a player. Get out the way, ref. Come on now. Right. And so, the question here is there any unsportsmanlike action involved here? Right. Our dunker, right? The player goes down hard. I think they may have hit their head on the floor, a factor on this play. Right? The dunker looks down at the player and then steps over them, right? And so we're thinking on a play like this, I think he did hit his head, about all of those things and what are the factors that help us in making an adjudication about this action, whether it's unsportsmanlike or not. And we also have our teammates who have a great emotional reaction. Are they taunting or demeaning the opponent, or are they celebrating their teammate? Right, with the, on his head indication. It seems to be sort of a team thing that they celebrate in this fashion, right? So what are the factors that we're going to use to determine whether or not this is unsporting, right? We don't want any unsporting, demeaning, taunting, etc. action in the game, right? So our dunker dunks the ball, looks at the player, right? But we have to evaluate all of the things, right? We're evaluating what the player who took the action and also the reaction from the opponent, because that's a factor here, right? If we had a negative reaction from the opponent or about the step over as well, right, then things can escalate, right? In my judgment, I don't see this player. I see the step over action as sort of being the natural way they can extricate. They want to go to the other end of the court, right? They just want to get past this player, right? So I don't see unsporting action here on this play, but we want to be sensitive here. Now, what's the other thing? We need to be concerned about that player who potentially hit their head on the floor, right? And what their reaction is, right? Let's watch. They pop up pretty quick. They are all good, right? So we need to be aware of that player. In addition, right, we have a timeout, and so we are going to have teams crossing here after this play, right? After this play, we may expect, right, some reaction from the player who is dunked upon, a teammate, etc. Any sort of energy with players coming in towards the bench and crossing paths. So on a play like this, those are the things that jump out to me. Is we're evaluating the action of the dunker. We're evaluating the reaction of the player who is dunked upon. We're aware that they may have hit their head, and we're going to have to possibly address that with the coach, right? And say, take some action there. But also after the resulting timeout here, we want to watch the players even more intently. We always want to watch players when they cross, but even more intently on a play like this after some dramatic action where somebody potentially is offended by, the reaction of the team or some such, right? So all of those things are popping into our brains as basketball officials when we have a play like this in our game, and we don't want to miss anything, and we need to make proper judgments about sporting action in this situation. The other thing that we have here, which is of course sad, is the empty stands. We're in an arena situation, a collegiate arena. This is a high school game in a collegiate arena, and one of the things we love about the high school experience is the stands being filled, the band playing, the cheerleaders, the excitement, the student sections potentially going back and forth. So in the empty arena, the sadness, the sadness. You know, the key question here is this bench saying, hey, directing their energy at the player who was dunked upon, or are they celebrating their teammates' action, right? And sometimes teams can have sort of their own mannerisms, right? Like, just like a bicep or something like this, right? A player dunks or grabs a great rebound in traffic, and everybody on the bench stands up and gives some, strength, right? Reaction, right? So it's an emotional game, and we don't want to officiate the motion out of the game, but we have to figure out where the emotion is directed to, right? We can start back here. Let's look at the position of the trail, right? Trail's in great position, and then a double team and the ball handler come towards him, right? And we get in this situation where we are looking like down to officiate. When the play comes towards you, right, we don't have the ability to accelerate backwards, but we would want to get away from this action that's right in front of us, in my opinion. Right? And so he steps back, right, to gain perspective. And he's got the initial count in one direction, the other count in the other direction, right, which is fantastic. Great behavior there. Deflection, and we're going the other way, right? So you're now new lead in this situation. Is there any way you're going to beat this play to the end line? Absolutely not, right? So you need to make a decision about where is the best place for me to officiate. If you're the center in this play, what do I know about my lead? They are not going to be in the best position to officiate this play necessarily. I may need to expand, right? These are the things that are just popping into our minds, and we need to get down as center on this play as well. And if we're new trail, have at it, guys. Then, right, so we're beat. We could say that this may be the best angle to officiate this play. The further down we go, our look does not improve, right? We can always accept the fact that we are going to be beaten on this play and just find the angle to officiate. Once that play finishes, then move to the end line quickly. We've got a cameraman over on the left, and this player appears to hit his head. Right, our two officials both move in, lead and center, which is great behavior here. Our old trail recognizes the timeout, and we have players cross on the play. All right, let's take a look again at any sort of travel and transition. Deflection. Okay, is this player dribbling the basketball with that deflection? Dribbling the basketball means a player in control of the ball pushes or bats the ball to the floor. That's where we make our big bucks. Picks the ball up and then begins a dribble. Is this a double dribble? No. No, it is not. That initial batting of the ball was not a part of a dribble. But that's something we want to look at on a play like this, right? So all of the things. This is how we analyze game video. This is the things that we're looking for so we can all get better as basketball officials. We're cataloging plays. This situation occurs in a game, right? So could we, out of a timeout, have a discussion with this player who dunked the basketball? Hey, that was a great dunk, right? Let's make sure not to step over a player after that situation, right? Or just some guidance to help them because we're sort of approaching a gray area, although that's my judgment. Many of you think it's not gray at all. That's fine. Now we know we've had that in the game. If we don't think it quite rises to that level, but it's not something we're going to ignore, right? We are aware this has occurred in our game. We're aware that offended player, if we're going to consider them offended, may at some point, are they going to come back with some retaliatory action? right? In a boys' game, in a girls' game, right? We need to be aware. All right, let's take a look at another play. Play number 3. All right, a great possible backcourt play, and really forces us to have a clear understanding of status and processing on a play, right? So we have a possible backcourt play. Was our passer on this play? Did they have front court status? The player who then caught the ball in the air and passed it forward, did they? What was the status? Their status on the play. This is obviously an NBA game. NBA rules regarding backcourt are different, but so we can analyze it from a National Federation of High School point of view, right? So in this situation, we have to evaluate our initial player. Let's call him player 1. Did they have backcourt status when they threw the ball back to their teammate? Their teammate, what was the status there, right? And if we look at this play, an excellent play, we have athleticism on the court, right? And these plays are so exciting, these displays of athleticism. But our job is to analyze all of the things. So if we take a look here, right, our player is, the defensive player here at some point gains player control, right? They do when they grab the ball right there. Player control. And now, even though they may step into the front court afterward, they have released a pass towards a teammate. That teammate jumps from the backcourt. They are in the backcourt. The ball is in the backcourt there and is passed forward. And at this point, the ball gains front court status on this play. This is a legal play in high school, right? A great display of athleticism. One that's going to force us, though, our brains are going to be working, right? As center on this play, even as new lead, anybody can come get it if we have an obvious backcourt violation. But this play is legal by rule and should be adjudicated as such. All right, a great backcourt play forces us to think through all of the things status related, right? And we see great athleticism on the play, allow ourselves to process properly so we can adjudicate those plays. A great example from that, it's obviously from a higher level, but we see that athleticism in our own game. We love to see that athleticism in our own game. We also see a situation where we need to process, analyze, and not put a reaction whistle on a play. All right, now let's take a look at play number 4. All right, here's that play. You know that one, right? This is one, just a super rudimentary play from the fantastic Lamar Sullivan. He's got a great YouTube channel with a lot of great play clips on it. I will put a link down below to Lamar's channel. You should check that out. You can always just search YouTube for Lamar Sullivan, Lamar with double R at the end, right? So this is the play, right? The obvious play, the one that there's confusion about in the past about whether this is a backcourt violation or not, right? We have, in order to have a backcourt violation, we must have player and team control on the court, or player control establishing team control on the court. Simple, straightforward. This is the play once a few years ago when team control was given to the throw-in team during a throw-in. This is the one that caused all the confusion, right? Because, well, there's team control when but the team control that's given is only for the administration of fouls should a foul occur on the play, right? So on this play, does our player in green ever have player control in the front court? No. So there's no team control on the front court, in the front court. And in the absence of team control in the front court, we cannot have a violation by rule, right? In order to have a violation, we have to have team control in the front court, last to touch in the front court, first to touch in the backcourt. The missing component on this play is that there is no player and therefore no team control in the front court by rule, right? So this is one that is often asked about, this play, by new officials who become somewhat confused about the team control aspect of things, right? So this is the one. We learned this one. We know this is legal. There may be energy in the building, right, that may jump up about that's got to be backcourt, etc. But legal play by rule. And you also get a situation here where it's an everybody knows. Well, everybody knows that's backcourt. There's no pushback anywhere, right? There's no pushback by the stakeholders in the game, right? Everybody knows that's a violation. We're going this way. But also what we have here is a situation where our partners, right? Our partners can help us fix this play, right? We have made an erroneous ruling in the game. Do we have an opportunity to correct it? If I'm the center on this play, am I coming, hey, partner, hey, we never had team control on the court, in the front court, right? Can we go with an inadvertent whistle on a play like this? Yes, we can, right? All the situation, all the aspects of the game say, let's come fix this play, right? If the score is 59-12 and it's against the team with 59, okay, I can see that, right? This is an erroneous ruling on this play. We have the opportunity to fix it. I would encourage you to evaluate all the things and come in with information as a partner, even if you are that younger official, and get the play right. But now let's move on to our next play scenario. All right, a fantastic clip. So this was on Lamar's YouTube page, Lamar Sullivan, link in the show notes below. But our official here, this is Andrew Gross, who often publishes his plays on Facebook groups, a great young official, right? And so we have a great play here, a lot of things to discuss on this play, right? Transition action. Crew is in great position to officiate. And judgment is this is a verticality play. Our defender is legal on this play. Our visiting coach does not agree and animatedly gestures and yells at the lead official. In doing so, contacts the center official. Center official assesses a technical foul. Right? So let's look here at all of the things that come into play. We're going to make a judgment about the play itself. We're making judgment about the positioning of the crew. We're making judgment about reactions. We're making judgments about demeanor and all of these things. And we want to say, this is good, 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 could be improved, could be improved. You know, it's going to take all that goodness. Take goodness wherever you can find it, and let's go from there. All right, so on this play, let's take a look. Transition action. We need to make a judgment about our defender and the legality of this defender. Do they ever establish legal guarding position? Right? I'd say here, we've got a player with 2 feet on the floor and he is facing his opponent. That is legal guarding position. But then when the player comes to attack, when he makes the jump, right, the body is turned. Let's show up here. Well, the body is turned and he's no longer facing the opponent. After you have established legal guarding position, you are allowed to turn, right? In initial guarding position, 2 feet on the floor facing a defender, or facing the opponent. But after that, I no longer need to maintain that. I could turn my body, and that's his choice here as he goes up. And so we see his feet where he is on the floor when he jumps, right? And where he lands. He did not jump into the ball handler. He jumped up. The contact with the ball handler actually moved the defender back, right? There's a lot of contact on this play. The defender, though, is legal here in my judgment. Our head coach animatedly directs energy towards the lead official and contacts the center official, right? Center official says, we're not having that, right? So we could say, let's say the coach was just standing there and there was some contact with the official, right? And it was like right at the edge of the court. We don't have necessarily a coach coming on. This is inadvertent contact. This is not unusual. This happens in the game. When you have a coach who is animatedly making comments about a call, no call, etc., and the same contact occurs, easy, right? So watch the demeanor of the calling official, right? No, we're not having that. That's a technical, and moves away, right? It's not animated, it's not excited, it's not reactionary. It's just like, no, we're not having that. Boom, boom, and move away. We're not gonna like come at the coach there, right? But it's just business. We're not having that. That's a technical foul, and go to report, right? And slow everything down and administer things correctly. So a great clip for us to review, right? And we want to take all of the demeanor things, all of the attributes. Our lead hustling to the end line, gets a great look on the play, makes a judgment. I think this is a collegiate game. I think there's some cylinder NCAA men's stuff that goes with it, right? But makes that judgment, makes that ruling. Our center official's in great position, uses his speed to get in great position on the play as well. Our head coach does something that rises to the level of a technical foul. It's just business. Boom, boom, and we're moving on from there, right? So we want to take all of the positives out of that equation that we can. 3 possible scenarios. One is it's just inadvertent contact, right? The coach is just standing, in the bench area in such a fashion that maybe part of their body is extended over the court, and our center official is very close to the sideline, turns, right? That's one thing. And the other is, as we have on this play, making animated, you've got to call, that's a foul, that at the lead, and then the contact occurs. That's a technical foul. Let's say our center official had made no call, and the coach then was saying at the center official, you've got to call that, and like shoves them or something like that, right? Now we've got a flagrant technical foul. For some, the contact here is inadvertent, right? But it's inadvertent while taking a certain action, which makes it a technical foul in this situation. But we could certainly imagine a scenario where some non-advertent contact was issued, in which case we would go flagrant technical foul, take a seat on the cold bus in the parking lot. Right, the key thing here, Jason says, so this is a challenging play for him, right? The key thing here is picking up the defender, right? If we watch, our lead in transition here, and we know the ball's in the center's primary. Who's our defender, right? And we see this play gets passed, and it's going to be going to the basket. If we watch, right, so we have the defender from the outside on the ball handler here, right? So Andrew has the open look between those. Who is responsible for this defender who is above our ball handler? This action here. This belongs to the center official. Our lead, all they have to do is pick up this secondary defender. If we pick up the secondary defender, these plays get a lot simpler. If we are watching across the lane here on this play, if we're letting ourselves be undisciplined and watch the action on the ball handler at this point and not pick up that secondary defender, then we're going to get surprised and potentially react and make an erroneous ruling on the play. If we said, look, you have one job here. Just pick up our secondary defender and tell me about the legality of this defender, right? Legal, 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 right? So we know also the player goes up with an arm and the arm comes down slightly, but there's no contact with that arm, right? If we're watching that arm, right? Legal, legal, legal. So that would be the takeaway on this play. Pick up the players you're supposed to officiate, and the game gets a lot simpler. All right, we have time for one more play, a bonus play. Let's take a look. Right. A simple screening play to end the new year. No, end the year. Right? So, not a lot going on this play. Illegal screen by rule. We could talk about a number of things. When we analyze our game video, what are we looking at? We're looking at positioning of the crew. What are we officiating, etc. So, on its merits, we have a double screen situation here. Ball handler, a player moves to get open, right? Screening is legal. Screening is the act of placing your body in the path of an opponent on purpose, right? It's built into the game of basketball, but there's rules and restrictions regarding screeners, right? Our screener on this play initially is legal. We have torso contact on the play. This is a legal screen, but rather than, right, so our screener in this situation must remain stationary. We can't continue to adjust where we are on the court to prevent that player. Setting the initial screen is a legal thing to do. Moving as the screener is not a legal thing to do. So our player gets a little distressed here and continues to move into the path of the screener, making it illegal. Right? Much more interesting on this play. Let's see. No. Much more interesting on this play to look at the positioning of the crew and what we're looking at, right? So our trail official here has the on-ball matchup, even when the on-ball matchup moves towards the center official, right? As a center official, we're officiating players in our primary. If we're officiating players in our primary, we've got a great look at number 20, right? And we have recognized the screening action that they're setting up here, right? All straightforward. Identify an illegal screen, right? We notice though where our center position or where our center ends up here. If we think the play through, we know as the center that this ball is coming towards us, and we would want to move down towards the end line in this situation to keep an open look on the screening action and the ball handler or the player who's coming across here to get open, right? If we're officiating players in our primary, we see this player move from the opposite side of the court and they're coming towards us. And the position of the ball, what do we expect to have happen when we see that player make that move, right? We expect that the ball is going to be passed to that player beyond the three-point arc for an open shot or something thereafter. So we want to anticipate that action and position ourselves lower so that when the ball is caught by that player, right, we're in better position. And we can accomplish that here by still officiating the screening action. So I'd say there's room for improvement from what we can see on the video. There's room for improvement. It looks as though our center official was anticipating getting on top of this play, right? We do perceive that the lead is coming over, right? And we would be the new trail as well. We may perceive that as the center here, but we still want to stay below that player, in my opinion, on this play. So I would expect our center, when they make the call here for the illegal screen, that they have an open look on this on-ball matchup here to the very left of the screen. But instead, we seem to be drifting out of the look. So I'd say that's room for improvement. Of course, we're now National Federation of High School. On this, we would have this thing mechanic both at the spot and when reporting. We do recognize here as the center that we are going to become the new lead. I think in some parts of the country, you may still be using the mechanic where the calling official in this instance comes tableside. In California, we don't do that anymore, and I've become a little bit disconnected with that rule. This game is in California. So, hey, thanks for joining us today for 5 Play Friday. Appreciate you joining, sticking around to the end. If this is the video content that you find valuable as a basketball official, great time to do all of the things. You could hit like, you could hit subscribe, and you could hit notify so you don't miss out on any of our new content. Give me just a moment and allow me to thank those fantastic show supporters who help fuel our show. Charles Fogel, Fred Thompson, David Barnett, Nick Hahn, and Janice Brown. Much appreciated and much love. If you want to support the show, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll put a link above and in the show notes below. Tremendous. We have additional video content available for you here. This is a video I have selected for you. This is a video YouTube has selected for you. You've got to make a choice. Make your choice. Choose wisely, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.